So this is the Holystone HS20E. It's on Amazon for £299, which includes the drone and a whole bunch of accessories. And if you're a beginner looking at getting into drones, then this could be the one for you. But before we start this video, a short disclaimer. Yes, Holystone did get in contact with me to see if I wanted to do a review of this drone, which I obviously said yes to, hence it's in my hand. But this is not a paid video, it's not a sponsored video or anything like that. They don't even get to see this video before it goes live, so this video is my true and unbiased opinion about this drone. But if you are actually interested in picking one of these drones up yourself, I have put an Amazon affiliate link in the description down below, so you can click that, go over and pick one of these up yourself if you are interested. But anyway, back to the actual video. And if you're watching this video, you're probably a beginner or someone who's thinking about getting into drones or flying drones, drones with cameras, and this HS20E could be the one for you. It's super lightweight, it's pretty cheap, it's small, and it's pretty easy to use as well. Okay, so let's start off by doing an unboxing of this drone. And personally, I think the design of the actual box, the look of the box looks quite good. It doesn't look too cheap and too kind of beginnery, even though this is kind of designed for beginners in mind. So let's open it up and take a look inside. And as we can see here, it comes with this nice carry case, which is quite soft to touch. The actual material is really nice and soft, but at the same time, it feels like it's pretty hard wearing, and it should protect the drone and the accessories which are inside of here. The actual zip feels nice and high quality. Doesn't feel like too much of a cheap zip. So then if we open it up inside, in this top section here, we have some actual sort of paperwork. We have cautions and warnings and stuff about the batteries, and also we have the instructions, which we'll probably want to read, but I'll just put that to one side at the moment. And then the next thing we see is this box here, and inside of this box we have a few accessories. And in here we actually have 4 spare propellers, which is really nice to have because, you know, if we actually crash the drone, we can just replace these propellers and we should be all good to go. So there's 4 of those. And then also we have a little bag of teeny tiny screws as well, which will kind of screw the propellers to the actual drone itself. Next up, we actually have a spare battery, and I actually really like the fact that it comes with a spare battery, because when you're flying a drone, you always actually want to be able to fly it for longer than they actually last for, so a spare battery is a really nice thing to have. And then next we have the actual charger as well, which comes with a USB to USB-C, which plugs into this little charging brick. And then we can open these 2 up here, and this is where our batteries will go. There's one battery which is in the drone, and then that spare battery as well. These click together, and then this will just plug into the wall. And then finally in here we have a small little Phillips head screwdriver, which is used to take these propellers on and off, and those tiny screws for the propellers, this screwdriver can be used for that. And finally, if we take this piece of foam off, we can see the controller and the drone itself as well, which is folded up at the moment. And personally, I think it's a really nice thing that it comes with this carry case, and those accessories, which I just spoke about, can all fit into this carry case as well. And that means that nothing's going to get lost, and we can keep it all together. Okay, so let's take a closer look at the actual drone itself. It does feel quite solid in the hand, but it is made from plastic pretty much entirely. It's kind of got that cheap sort of plasticky sound, which is obviously used to keep the prices down and stuff. But if we look on the bottom of the actual drone, we have a sensor which helps with the drone's positioning when we're flying, and it also has 2 LEDs which we can turn on and off when we're flying as well. Both of these have a protective film over the front of them, which we will actually want to remove these to make sure that when we're flying it, it's not going to kind of cause any issues or anything when we're actually flying it. And the camera on the front also has a protective film as well, which we will obviously want to remove before we're using the actual drone. And as you can see here, there is a fair bit of play with the camera, which should help take out some of the wobbles when we're actually flying the actual drone. Now, what makes this drone stand out from the other Holystone drones is this actually has electronic image stabilization, or EIS, and that is why there is an E in the name of the actual drone. So HS720E basically means the E is for the electronic image stabilization. Now, this electronic image stabilization is definitely something that Holystone are really pushing with this drone, and what makes this one stand out compared to their other drones. Now, if you're wondering, electronic image stabilization, or EIS for short, basically means that it has software built into the drone which will electronically stabilize the image from the actual camera. So when you're flying it around, if there's any kind of shakes and wobbles in the actual drone, then it will automatically stabilize that footage, so it'll make it look a lot smoother. Now, that's kind of a good thing because it makes it stand out and a lot better than some of the real cheap drones, but it's not going to be as good as a more expensive drone that has a gimbal to help stabilize it as well. And because this drone only has electronic image stabilization, it means that the camera is basically fixed to the actual drone itself. So if the drone tilts, the camera also tilts as well. So the horizon of the footage of the camera is constantly going to be tilting when we're flying this drone around, where more expensive drones, like I just said, have a gimbal on the bottom, so the camera is basically independent from the actual drones. Or more expensive ones, if the drone tilts, the camera will stay at the same position and keep the horizon line of our footage level and square. But this camera can shoot 4K at 30 frames a second or 1080p at 60 frames a second, and it has a 130-degree field of view, which is fairly wide and just what you want with a drone camera. And it can also tilt from 90 degrees, so it can basically tilt directly down or forward as well. And when the arms of the drone are packed away as they are now, the size is 10 centimeters wide, 18 centimeters long, and 6 centimeters tall. And on the side of the drone, you will see here that there is some instructions of how to actually open the drone's arms with first and second. And all that basically means is we open the back arms first, followed by the front arms of the drone. And then we can actually see that we've got the brushless motors on the end of each of the arms, and also the 4 propellers which are already attached. But like I said just now, you also have 4 extra propellers which we can change these if we ever need to. And when the arms and propellers are fully extended as they are now, it's 36 centimeters wide by 32 centimeters tall. And with the arms open, we can see where the micro SD card will be inserted, and it states that it should be a class 10 or above and up to 128 gigabytes. But this is not included in the box, and you will have to make sure that you buy one separately. And the battery is located on the back of the drone, and as you can see, it's not actually locked in position because there's this piece of foam which is in the way. Now, this piece of foam is only on there for the actual transportation of the drone, so you want to make sure that you remove this, so then the actual battery can click in properly. And then to remove it, we just press this little button down here, and that takes the battery in and out. Each battery is rated for 23 minutes, and again you have a spare one, so you actually have 46 minutes of flight time, but this will change depending on the conditions of how you're actually going to fly it, so 23 minutes per battery is going to be best case scenario. And if you're interested, it's 7.4 volts at 2800 milliamps. And we can use the included charger with that USB to USB-C cable to charge both of the drone batteries. And one good thing is that we can actually plug both the batteries in at the same time, so we don't have to swap them. But even though both these batteries are plugged in, it will only charge one battery at a time, and each battery will take about 5 hours to charge, which is a total of 10 hours to charge both those batteries. Now let's actually take a look at the actual controller of this drone. And again, this does feel a little bit plasticky as well, but it doesn't feel too cheap or too flimsy. The joysticks seem to have a nice bit of movement, and they've got a nice bit of kind of friction or tension in them, which is quite nice. The antenna unclip from the back of the actual controller, and then they can swivel as well, so we can get them in the desired position we actually want them. And then also we can pull this section out here, and this is where our phone will go, and it basically fits in just like that. And as you can see, there's still quite a lot of space, so if you have a bigger phone or a phone with a case on, then it still should fit in here quite nicely. And if you're wondering why your phone attaches to the controller, we actually use the phone or the app on the phone to actually see what the camera sees on the actual drone, because the screen on the actual controller doesn't actually show you what the camera sees from the drone. The screen on the front just gives you a little bit of information about the flying, but if you want to see what the camera sees, then you have to attach your phone to it as well. And one thing I actually really like on the bottom of this controller is it actually unfolds as well. Now these don't actually do anything, they're just there for comfort, as it helps to kind of balance the controller in your hand when the phone is attached, and it stops it being kind of too top heavy, so your kind of fingers can grab this bit of the controller as well, and I feel like it just gives that controller a little bit of a better ergonomic design. And there are also a few buttons on the controller as well. The one on the top left is for takeoff and landing, the one on the top right is the fly back home feature button, the one on the bottom left is to lock and unlock the drone's motors, and the slider on the controller here, that is to turn the controller on and off. And there is also a slider on the right hand side as well, and this is used to turn the GPS on and off of the actual drone. And we also have a few more buttons on the back of the controller as well. If we press this one here, that will turn on and off the LEDs on the bottom of the drone. A long press will turn on sport mode or fast fly mode, and another long press will put it into kind of slow mode or beginner mode. And this here we actually use to change the position of the camera. Like I said, it changes 90 degrees, so we can pull this to go 90 degrees one way or 90 degrees the other. And then on the left hand side here, we can use this to take a picture, but this actually doesn't do anything, and this is just a dummy one. Now overall, I do actually think the controller feels pretty decent in the hand. Yes, it is kind of plasticky, but it doesn't feel that cheap. And as you can see, I'm kind of like forcefully moving the controller around right now. It doesn't feel like it's gonna break or snap. But one thing I really don't like about this controller is the fact that it takes AA batteries. Now that's one thing I think is kind of shows that it's for beginners and shows that it's a little bit kind of cheap because it's taking AA batteries. I just wish they put a built-in battery in here as well. So when we're actually charging the drone batteries, if we could then plug that into the controller as well, so we knew that when we got up in the morning, we wanted to go fly the drone, that we knew that we had 100% battery in all of the batteries, including the controller as well. But being AA's means that we'd have to take spare AA batteries with us, or also if we're going to be taking it traveling or something, that we would then have to take a AA battery charger as well, which just adds weight and it just adds kind of extra bits which could go wrong. Where if this had a built-in battery, we could charge it all at the same time, I think that would have made it a lot better. And there we have it. I really hope you found this unboxing and quick overview video useful. If you have, please give it a big fat thumbs up, as it really does help out on these videos. And like I just said, if you are interested in seeing a full review where we look at the image quality, the flight times, the features and stuff, make sure you hit that subscribe button to be notified when that video goes live. And also, if you are interested in picking one up, there is a link in the description down below where you can go over and buy one yourself. And until next time, keep on creating.